Now that you have a basic understanding of Pandas and you know how to use Jupyter notebooks, we can go ahead and learn how to load various kinds of files in Python using Pandas and Jupyter. So I've got 5 files here. They contain exactly the same dataset, and this is a text version, or let me open the Excel version that will show a pretty overview of the data, as you can see. So we've got 7 lines of code, including the header, and we have also 7 columns. So it's just some basic data of supermarkets, so the address, city, state, country, and the name of the supermarket and number of employees. And similarly, we have exactly the same data, but in different formats. So we have CSV, and CSV means comma separated values. So it's basically a text file where the values, the columns, are separated by commas, as you can see here. So every column is separated by a comma, but it has a CSV extension and it can be opened with Excel. So if I open this now, you'll see the same data set that you saw in the XLS file. We also have the same data in separated by semicolons, as you can see in here. And yeah, if you're working with data, you're probably familiar with these kinds of files. So this is how to store data. You need to have some conventions, and using such convention, then you use other programs such as Python to load these data. So when you load a CSV file, Python knows that the values will be separated by commas, and it knows how to separate them. It knows how to extract values. So we'll open all these one by one. We also have a JSON file, which is yet another format to store data, and looks like a Python dictionary actually. So we'll learn how to convert them to a Pandas data frame as well. So all these will be converted to Pandas data frames. And yeah, I'll go ahead and start Jupyter notebook. Here are my files. I'll go ahead and create a new Jupyter notebook for Python 3. Before I go ahead and load those files in Python, there's a trick I do usually. I import OS and then os.list there, and Alt Enter, execute that. You go to the next line, and what you get is you get a list of files and folders as well, of file names that you have in the current directory. So now I don't have to switch to my folder to look at the names. I have everything in here. Now I can go ahead and import Pandas. And let's start loading these files one by one. Let's say df1, so data frame 1, and that would be equal to pandas.read CSV. And then you have to pass the name of the file that you want to open, supermarkets.csv, and just enter. And maybe you want to print that out, so df there. And yeah, what we got here is, so we loaded the data frame first and then we printed that out, so that we got this table, nice table in there. That's how easy it is to load data from CSV file. Now, the benefit of having the data in Python is that once you load them in Python, you can do many operations with your data. You can do statistics and add new columns. You can merge columns. You can add the numbers of one column to the numbers of the other columns, and at the end you can export those data back to formats like CSV, Excel, and etc. So we're going to do that later, but first let's see how we load data from several file formats in the next videos.